While most people are motivated to get their estate planning done because they have concerns about what will happen to their property upon their death or taking care of minor children, there's another reason why you should put an estate plan in place, and that is planning for a period of disability. Hi, my name is Antoinette Bone, and I'm an estate planning, probate, guardianship, and elder law attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. And today's topic is disability planning. In talking about disability planning, I will cover 3 documents you need to have for emergency medical planning. So what is disability planning? Now, many people fail to seriously consider planning for disability because we do not always believe that we will or could become disabled. Medical science has done some amazing things to extend our life expectancy and made it possible to live longer with a serious illness. Most of us are, in fact, living longer. Disability planning is planning for your possible mental disability or physical disability that is so severe that it leaves you unable to manage your personal and business affairs. Disability wears many faces. Your disability could be hearing impairment, cognitive loss, vision loss, ambulatory, or it could mean you are no longer able to live independently. The reality is that many of us will not necessarily die without first suffering some type of disability. The disability could be short-term or it could be long-term. Statistics show that 70% of us will likely experience some period of disability during our lives. Disability isn't something reserved for the 65 and older crowd. 20% of those who need long-term care will need it for longer than 5 years. While accidents do happen, it is not the norm to go straight from healthy to dead. There is typically some period of decline. And during our lifetimes, we will suffer health setbacks and recoveries. It is during the times of setback that having certain estate planning documents in place becomes crucial. Obtaining the right to speak for someone who is still alive can be very challenging. During a time of emotional crisis, fear can drive people to be uncooperative in helping themselves by not allowing someone to provide assistance to them. Taking control of things after a death is easy and not as urgent. It is often the unexpected incident that creates an urgent need to make decisions for someone. While getting a will or a trust gets all the glitz and glam and red carpet treatment in estate planning, it is the disability planning documents that are the supporting actors who often come in and steal the show. Most people want to have some say in who is making decisions on their behalf. The best time to decide who that person is going to be when you are not experiencing a crisis. We're going to look at 3 documents that convey your needs and wishes around medical events: the medical power of attorney, the HIPAA release, and the directive to physicians and surrogates. Now there's a 4th document, the pre-need declaration of guardian, that is covered in a separate video. So let's get started talking about the medical power of attorney. The cornerstone document for medical planning is the medical power of attorney. The person you put in charge is perhaps more important than the content of the documents or the specifics of the plan. Good people can save a mediocre or even a bad plan by the choices they make. However, incompetent people who make bad choices can make a mess of a good plan. The typical medical power of attorney is more focused on granting powers to your agent than it is providing specific instructions about what decisions you prefer your medical agent to make. While general guidance is better than nothing, your medical agent will need to make specific decisions when called into action, not just general ones. The number of scenarios in which a medical agent may have to act are too numerous and too varied to provide specific instructions. This likely will mean that the medical agent must decide about situations that may not have been anticipated by anyone, with only minimal guidance about what the principal would have wanted. This is why it is crucial that you discuss with your agent what kind of care you do and do not want. Texas law requires your healthcare representative to make decisions based upon your known wishes. If you don't tell them, they will not know and cannot make a decision that is likely to be what you would have done or wanted for yourself. Medical decisions are personal and often based on emotional or spiritual values. This is one of the main reasons so many families fight over medical decisions. Many people have widely divergent attitudes toward medical treatment. Some may view alternatives to Western medicine safer and more effective. Differing beliefs often lead to conflict. Disagreement can easily occur over how much treatment someone should receive when he or she is advanced in age, has a terminal condition, or otherwise has a diminishing quality of life. A family member is more likely to feel comfortable expressing their disagreement with the medical agent or the attending physician because it can be perceived as loving concern. The question becomes, does your medical agent know what your beliefs are and your preferences? Can they be depended upon to make a decision in line with your beliefs and desires, even in the face of opposition from other family members? The medical agent requires a different skill set than the financial agent. While every fiduciary must be ethical, diligent, detail-oriented, the medical agent doesn't need to be good with money. The medical agent needs to understand your views on medical care and end-of-life scenarios, and also have the backbone to stand up to your family members and maybe even medical experts who may disagree. So why is this document important? Your medical power of attorney authorizes your agent to make medical decisions for you if you cannot express your wishes or make the decisions yourself. In addition, your medical power of attorney authorizes your agent to obtain copies of your medical records. You may revoke your medical power of attorney at any time by informing your agent in writing that you are revoking the appointment. You should also send a copy of the written revocation to anyone who has a copy of the original power of attorney. The agent may exercise the authority contained in the medical power of attorney only if the principal's attending physician certifies in writing and files the certification in the principal's medical record that, based on the attending physician's reasonable medical judgment, the principal lacks capacity to make healthcare decisions. The agent is not authorized to make a healthcare decision over the objection of the principal, that's you, regardless of whether the principal has the capacity to make healthcare decisions. Under this medical power of attorney, the agent, for the purpose of making a healthcare decision, may request, review, and receive any information, oral or written, regarding the principal's physical or mental health, including medical and hospital records, and may execute a release or other document required to obtain the information, and may consent to the disclosure of medical records, unless this right is limited by the terms of the medical power of attorney. So watch for my video on choosing a fiduciary. Now, next up is the HIPAA release. Your authorization for release of protected health information is a document required by the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, commonly referred to as HIPAA. This affidavit gives healthcare providers such as doctors, hospitals, and laboratories the right to disclose a person's medical information and conditions with other persons that the HIPAA authorization names as persons to whom medical information and conditions may be disclosed. This document allows the identified persons to obtain protected health information on your behalf in order to make informed decisions about your care and to pay your medical bills. Last but not least is the directive to physicians and surrogates, aka a living will, aka advance directive. Your directive to physicians informs your doctors that you do not want extraordinary medical measures taken, especially those that would cause you pain or discomfort if those measures would only prolong the dying process, or that you do want that. This document backs up your medical power of attorney. Anyone can deliver this document to your doctors if your agent under the medical power of attorney is unavailable to make healthcare decisions for you. This directive becomes operative when you are unable to make a healthcare decision. If a medical professional is unwilling to act in accordance with the directive, the attending physician or a healthcare provider must make reasonable efforts to transfer you to another physician. My clients seem to fall into two categories when it comes to their directive to physicians. One, they agonize over it, or two, they have already decided what they want to have happen, with no sentimentality. Neither approach seems entirely appropriate. I always strongly recommend that you talk with your doctor about the choice that you contemplate and the language I add to the statutory form. The directive to physicians is worthy of significant reflection, even though it is a limited document that covers only two improbable events, a terminal condition and an irreversible condition. I think it's important to point out that most lives end in ways not anticipated in the directive to physicians. Even with the directive in place, there are still many situations where your medical agent may need to make difficult life and death decisions about how much treatment to continue providing after a situation has become dire. If you have a terminal or irreversible condition that has been diagnosed and certified in writing by the attending physician and have designated a person to make treatment decisions, the attending physician and your designated agent may make a treatment decision in accordance with your directions. If you have not designated a person to make a treatment decision, the attending physician shall comply with the directive unless the physician believes that the directive does not reflect your present desire. Your present desires supersedes the effect of a directive. Before withholding or withdrawing life-sustaining treatment, the attending physician must determine that the steps proposed to be taken are in line with Texas law and your existing desires. It takes a lot more effort to put a directive in place than it does to revoke it. You may revoke the directive by destroying or physically defacing it, by signing a document revoking it, or by simply stating your intent to revoke it. This last one can present some challenges in a situation that is already emotionally stressful, because your ability to orally revoke the directive is not dependent upon your capacity, meaning you don't have to be in your right mind to revoke it. No matter how much intervention the client may elect to receive, it would be difficult to describe a good outcome in an end-of-life scenario. Life as they had been living it will have ended, and the clients agonizing over their choices need to understand this. The most significant advantage to completing an advance directive is not to prevent death, but to ease the loved one's acceptance of it, or to remove the burden of choice from a close family member. The goal is to make your wishes as clear as possible. I'm Antoinette Bone, estate planning, probate, elder law, and guardianship attorney in the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. If you found this content useful and would like to see more like it, please subscribe to my page, like this video, and don't forget to tell your family and friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.